So one of the followers of the Reciprocity Project sent me an email and asked, how do I keep my sanity in my career? And this person was talking about the challenges of moving. They moved from one lab where they felt underappreciated and was really experiencing some not great workplace behaviors, and moved to another one, and it's just as demanding, and they're really struggling with their career. I want to point out that I struggle with it too. And I think that's what my message is right now. So if this is you and this benefits you somehow, go out and do something random and help somebody else that's random to somebody. That's the name of the game with the Reciprocity Project, is just help out other people and pass on this good karma to other people. So how do I actually keep my sanity? And the truth is, I don't. I very much struggle with this. And then the fact in the last week, I've had conversations with my wife on how difficult this actually is and how socially isolated I actually feel. And I often contemplate, very much so, contemplate leaving and looking at different, going into industry, finding different jobs. There's all sorts of different things that I am compelled to do. And the challenge that I face is it's almost like a sunk cost fallacy, right? So you've already invested a great deal of time, and you have to do that in these kind of careers that compound, and you have to keep investing in the particular career that compounds. And so the challenges that you face, it's like making this investment. It's an investment decision, right? So you make this investment, and for the initial 10 years, it doesn't make that much money, or it doesn't pay a lot of returns. It's grueling. But then, you constantly are thinking about, is this going to get better? Is this going to get better? And the truth is, it often does not. So for me, in terms of keeping my insanity and what I do, I'm being more honest at this point, and I'm being more open with it. And I'm saying that this is challenging for me to do this. This is why I created, part of the reason why I started talking about the Reciprocity Project. I created this sort of platform, right? That was the idea. Was I was struggling with my writing. I was going to have a technical solution, create this platform for people to use. And what I realized when I start putting out videos is I realized people were struggling with much more things than that. And then I realized that, hey, wait a minute, a lot of how I feel about myself and why I believe my writing is not that great is because of me dealing with the stresses of what we actually go through. And so it's this constant battle in my head of, how do I actually deal with this? How do I process this? The general sort of recommendations that everybody gives, walking, exercise, eating properly, taking breaks, all of those things are extremely important to managing the anxiety that you feel. I swim a lot. That's my thing right now. But you'll notice if you watch back in different videos, the sort of things that I do changes throughout the time. And that's because my life changes, but also the things that give me sanity also changes, right? Like, it changes throughout your career. And I think for me, in terms of how do we deal with my sanity, is I distance myself. So first of all, in your particular situation, it is challenging to find people. This is the hardest thing in the career. And I always say this, right? Like, everybody wants to be on your paper, but nobody ever wants to do the work. And it's challenging to find people that want to do the work and that are really fun, and that you're just a joy to be around. And that's the rub. That's the really big part of it that I don't think most of us actually have. And including myself, it's really hard to find that kind of stuff. I do have occasional colleagues and stuff that I work with that are a joy to be around, but it's very temporary. It's very fleeting. And so with me dealing with this, I realize I got to give myself some grace and realize that, hey, first of all, these things, walking, eating properly, having showers, all that kind of stuff is an appropriate, normal thing to do that we should incorporate, but it's not allowed. We're not allowed to incorporate in academia. It's stupid, as far as I can tell you. Like, that is a stupid way of thinking, but that is the way of thinking in academia, right? And that's because it's so incredibly competitive. But what I try to do is balance how I feel in a given day versus survival in the particular career. And, that survival does come into question a lot, right? Like, am I actually going to survive in this career? Can I actually do it? And, the truth is I don't do a very good job, but part of it is, thinking of this balance of survival and knowing that I could do some things that pull back from the sort of competitive nature of it so I can actually survive and so I can actually do well and thrive. So that's one aspect of it. And that's a really important thing actually in business. We talk about this a lot, is how much, so I talk about my classes all the time, and I often am thinking about academia. How much of the resources should I be wasting? My resources should I be wasting so that we can sustain ourselves and survive? Because all the things that you think actually are really good in terms of culture feels like a waste at the time, like birthday cakes and saying hi to people, brushing your teeth, all of those kind of things seem like a waste when you're actually doing them. They seem like time consuming, going to the dentist. All of that stuff feels like a waste, but they're very, very important to actually do that. And so you have to get comfortable with standing up to waste resources, right? To waste your time, to do things that are important. Now, the challenge that I face is, how do you go about of doing that longevity stuff versus meeting the demands of today? And I don't know what the right answer is, right? And I think the sort of competitive nature of what we do is problematic. And I'm going to be like pretty upfront about that. It's very problematic. And I think we should spend more time, doing social things, but, finding the right balance for that and dealing with the right balance. And that's where I think finding the right people that you enjoy being around is an important thing, but they're so rare and they're so difficult to actually find. Academia is really weird because there's not a lot of people that are like that. But once you find those people, you try to invest and hang out with them as much as you possibly can, because that relationship is pretty fleeting as well. So, what should you do in terms of keeping your sanity? I don't know what the right answer is. It's different for everybody. I question myself all the time. I question whether this career is right for me. And I sort of fantasize about going and doing different things. But then I also think about, in that fantasy, I think about, okay, what is that gonna evolve? And then it helps me sort of clarify some of these things. So sometimes what you need to do is actually list out and think about what the possible things that you can do to go forward and get more information, right? And I think all of that stuff is pretty healthy to think about. So the struggle is extremely real, and we all deal with this. And I don't know what the right answers are. I'm not going to sit here and tell you what the right answers are and how to deal with this kind of stuff, but you know what they are in terms of making yourself feel healthy. And if you're feeling exasperated at this moment, then you really need to start making some more effort in terms of making yourself feel healthy, whatever that looks like for you. All right, that's all I wanted to say. Good luck, and remember to pay the favor forward. All right, take care, and have a wonderful day. Bye.